Welcome back, guys. This is the second module, part 2. What is direct response marketing? I'm trying to find the view slideshow button. There it is. Great. Okay. It's a lot cleaner this way, so sorry for the first one. I'm not going to redo it. So let's get into this. What is direct response marketing? According to ChatGPT, is it GTP? GPT? Okay, whatever. It is ChatGTP. Direct response advertising refers to a type of advertising that aims to elicit an immediate response from a viewer, listener, or reader. This type of advertising typically includes a call to action, such as call now or visit our website, and is designed to prompt the audience to take a specific action, such as making a purchase or requesting more information. Thank you. All right. That's a mouthful. So let's just highlight what direct response marketing actually is. The main thing that stood out to me is elicit an immediate response. Okay, so when you respond to something, you're trying to get some sort of feedback. You're trying to get some sort of response from that. If I touch it, it burns. Okay, there's a response. Second thing, there is a call to action. All right, something is getting you to click through, to take action in some form. You've seen this before. All right, it's not the first time you don't never heard of a call to action. All right, at this point. Number 3, prompt the audience to take a specific action. All right, so this is kind of the same as a call to action, but what I'm getting at is, look, get a response, get them to click. That is, in a nutshell, direct response advertising. And so I've kind of broken this down in my own words, what I think direct response marketing is, and obviously elicits an immediate response, includes a call to action, requires specific action. All right, we talked about that. Number 4 is it's measurable. Okay, I think this is the difference between direct response marketing and any type of like brand marketing or indirect marketing, is that when you're a direct response marketer, you're trying to put in $1 and make $2 back from your creative or from your ads. And by measuring that, you actually know what's more effective versus a big brand just throwing hundreds of thousands of dollars at a brand campaign and not really measuring the success of it, but just for the fact that they have the allowance and budget to be able to throw down like that. But when you're in direct response, you have to be very hyper focused on a specific audience to measure that result from your creative. Otherwise, you're just going to blow a ton of money that you don't have, right? Okay, so moving on, this is some example of direct mail direct response, and this is like one of the original forms of direct response. But the original form of direct response was like, there were like articles, advertorials that you would see in the newspaper. But you guys get this all the time, I'm sure. Everyone has seen junk mail, but this is direct response at its core. It's like you've got one chance to look at this thing, and if you don't, you're going to get thrown in the trash. And so I always feel like it comes off a little spammy, but direct response kind of is a little spammy. I'm not going to lie. It's, bold letters. It's big headline. It's, hey, don't move. Don't wait. Call us. There's a lot of urgency and scarcity, right? These are all, if you haven't read Cialdini's Principles of Persuasion, that book breaks down all the principles of persuasion that direct response uses. And it's very, I wouldn't say like mind control, but it's very persuasive. So when you add urgency, when you add scarcity to something, when you add social proof, when you add likability to something, it definitely makes the perception of whatever you're trying to put out there much more valuable. And that is the key to selling, because in essence, direct response marketing is selling. You're just selling on a visual format. Okay. Obviously, you guys have heard of As Seen on TV. This is one of the most classic direct response companies, commercial production companies. And this is linked to their YouTube, and I'll share these slides with you so you can see them. But we won't go over this in this example. We'll do some breakdowns later on, but everyone has seen that late night commercial. They're still running. There's you've got the chop and block. You've got the what's the one, the crazy guy. Oh my gosh. You got the Fix It tape. They're everywhere, right? Some of those most successful campaigns were huge inspiration for me starting ecom vids, because I think what direct response, as seen on TV, taught me was how to break down a video ad in sections. And because it's very formulaic, a lot of their commercials are the same or a slight variance of each other. And this is super useful when you're an editor, because when you look at a sequence on TV of an ad of anything, you see it in timeline format. And we'll break those down later on. But As Seen on TV was the pioneer of coming up with, a strong hook, a strong scroll stopper. I mean, back then on TV, it wasn't even a scroll stopper. It was just like, hey, stop what you're doing and watch this thing get blown up, right? It's the same form of attention grabbing that I feel was very, very impactful in how regular, social media ads are run today. Next, you've probably heard of this, but I'm just going to call them Harmon Brother ads, but there's many other high production direct response companies that produce very high level commercials that are super funny, that have direct response principles in there. You have Chamber Media, you have Harmon Brothers, you've got Bacon and Eggs Media. A lot of these guys I know, and their teams, great people. We kind of fit in a different genre. We never really made it to the high production level just because it's a completely different ball game. You need a lot of high quality experts, and we were more of a run and gun type of production team. But this video, if you haven't watched it, we'll watch it in a little bit, but it's really funny. And what I like to do when watching videos is kind of identify what is the persuasion technique in that video ad, because that's that's just applying your knowledge to the situation, identifying, okay, like what was the appeal? Why did this video work? Why didn't it work? Lastly, you've got social media ads. These are low production videos. This was a video from, I believe it was, let me pull that up really quick. Shapermint, right? Yeah. And so we're going to be primarily going over these types of ads and just breaking those down, because we've done thousands of those, and that's going to be the main focus. So why direct response matters? Okay, 5 reasons. Number 1, it sends a clear and specific message to a specific consumer or target audience. It allows you to measure the effectiveness of advertising by tracking performance, angle, messaging, and creative. Let me go back to number 1. It sends a clear and specific message to a specific consumer or target audience. I think this is really, really important when you're getting very granular with your messaging and your marketing, because in direct response, your ability to segment an audience according to demographic, to psychographics, to socioeconomic class, to pain points, you begin to identify little pockets of people. And when you send a creative that resonates with the person and their exact situation, it hits the nail on the head. It's almost like you're speaking directly to them, versus doing kind of a mass market approach where you're like, everybody loves coffee. Coffee's great, right? But if you go really, really precise with it, you start talking about the refined aspects of coffee, or like the things that you don't like about coffee, that's going to trigger a certain type of consumer. And as a creative, as an editor, it's our job to put that storyline together, and you get wildly different results based off the message that you're putting out there. And this can apply to absolutely everything. I don't want to just pigeonhole it into direct response. This is sales 101. This is just being empathetic in terms of understanding people have different needs and different backgrounds. So you're not going to talk to the same person. You're not going to talk to an 80-year-old, or maybe you might, an 80-year-old the same way as you would a 3-year-old, right? Completely different way of talking, different complexities, different, I would say, different levels of comprehension and that kind of stuff. So number 2, allows you to measure the effectiveness of advertising, tracking performance, angle, messaging. It kind of ties into that. But when you see the data come back from the creative, from the message, from the angle, from the direct mail, from the TV commercial, from the YouTube ad, whatever it is. It's almost like, you're getting this feedback loop of knowing if your message, if your angle, if your creative is actually resonating. And I think that's one of the great things about direct response, unlike social media, is that you're able to refine it faster because you can pay for traffic and you can get results pretty quickly, or at least you can narrow down what's not working and focus on the things that are working by just putting money into it. And in social, you have to kind of do things organically, and you have to take things a little slower, and you don't really have a pulse on the lever of how much money goes into it. So, they're obviously two different things, but you can cross apply direct response principles into social organic content or reels or TikTok posts, whatever the case may be. Number 3, why does it matter? It makes money. Okay. I think Alex Hermosi posted this in a tweet. He said, direct response makes money fast. Okay. And building a brand makes it builds wealth or something like that. So direct response is not the only way to run creative and do ads and all that stuff, but it is a format to make quick money because it is so specifically driven to a particular customer. And, I've been doing it for 10 years. So I understand that, there's a way to market to everybody. Literally, there's an audience for everything. If you are able to communicate your message and your creative to that person, that you can create demand. You can create enough pain for them to want your product. Number 4, it doesn't require massive budgets. Okay. This is huge because back then it used to be impossible to you couldn't hire, you have to spend a shit ton of money to run ads. Nowadays, anybody can run ads, really. And if you know what you're doing, you don't need a lot of money to invest in ads. As long as your ads are good, the ads will eventually take care of themselves. But a lot of people give up on that point. They'll give up on running ads because it's too expensive or it's not working. And so this is where I believe it's all creative these days. So if your creative is not on point, you're not going to be making money, at least with direct response. So lastly, it's the only form of advertising that allows you to put $1 in and make $2 back. Okay, I mentioned this earlier, but it really is that exchange. And if you're spending $1 and you're getting 50 cents back, then it really comes down to, okay, well, let's rework the creative. Let's rework the offer. Let's rework the messaging. And that it is this constant feedback loop of trying to refine it until you nail it. And then when you nail it, then you can scale it. That should be a tagline. When you nail it, you can scale it. So that's always everyone's dream, right? To scale. All right. So I want to briefly talk about branded advertising because there's definitely a dichotomy from direct response to branded. And I'm seeing a lot of brands kind of do a hybrid, but traditional branded advertising, I feel like it is much more of a common form of advertising. And I broke it down into these 5 different objectives. You've seen these on billboards. You've seen these in TV. You've seen these in YouTube ads. Anywhere that there's an ad placement, you've seen these branded ads, right? They're there to build awareness, establish brand identity, foster brand loyalty, increase brand equity, and drive sales. Meh. Yeah. A lot of car commercials, they're there to try to compete against other brands in the space. They want to be present in your mind. Let's say when, you're trying to make a decision to buy something, it's okay, how many times can I put my ad in front of people so that subconsciously it's there and I subconsciously make that choice when I'm going to a store or I'm going to a show and I want to buy that Coke, right? It's oh, I remember that one video. Okay, I'll buy that, right? So that brand awareness is actually really just becoming sticky in someone's subconscious. And moving forward, brand loyalty, brand equity, these are very emotional plays. They're not so much there's no pain point, when you're targeting someone for Coca-Cola. It's really like, okay, when I think of Coca-Cola, I think of red, I think of white, I think of people dancing, right? So it gives off a feeling more so than direct response, where direct response is like, okay, this is a problem and this is the solution to fix your problem. Here we have Coke. All right, this is an example of a branded ad that was probably used as maybe a billboard at one point, but share a Coke with family, friends, papa, mama, right? And it's touching more at the heartstrings, and it's not saying like, if it was a direct response ad, it would be like, are you dying of thirst? Grab a Coke, right? It's more so saying the implications of Coke is a family thing. Like everybody can enjoy it, right? It's share a Coke, hashtag share a Coke, right? But they don't talk about the ingredients. They don't talk about how much sugar is in it, Next, we've got Nike, all right? It's only a crazy dream until you do it. Just do it. Very inspirational. You'd probably see this in a magazine somewhere. And it's more of that meta kind of metaphysical, I would say, concept, right? It's not tangible. It's not like showing off the features and the benefits. It's more of this ethereal thought. It's only a crazy dream until you do it, Nike. It's like, I'm so inspired now. But they're huge, obviously. Toyota, go fund yourself. The 2014 Corolla S. I imagine a voiceover for this. So obviously, I just wanted to reiterate, you guys probably know this. And if you don't, this is, now you're aware that there's a difference, and you're going to be more conscious when you watch advertisements that come on. You're like, oh, that's branded, that's super branded. And oh, that's direct response. And like I said, the purpose of brand is to create awareness. You're not getting a direct call to action like direct response is, or maybe you are, but it's very gentle in comparison to direct response. It's like, yeah, go click now, go call now, versus, go check us out. Yeah, come in and see what our selection is. All right, so let's recap. Branded advertising versus direct response. All right. On the left side, we have branded advertising. It focuses on brand awareness, whereas direct response advertising focuses on continuous optimization of ads. Brand awareness, optimization. Okay. In branded advertising, it focuses on the brand identity. So what the people think of the brand, who is the brand? What is the brand? What is its, if it was a person, who would it be, right? Versus direct response, it focuses on key specific targeting and messaging. So instead of the brand being the entity that it focuses on, okay, who am I specifically talking to so I can craft a better message that hits that person's pain point. You've got on the left side, brand loyalty. Okay. Some people are just loyal to brands. I'm loyal to Apple. I've got all Apple products, and I don't know, I just like their stuff. It's a good product. Versus direct response advertising, it's focusing on getting as many customers as possible. All right. If you ever seen direct response advertisers, some of them are shadier than others. Okay. There's different levels to it, different gradients of ethics when it comes to direct response, but it is very, very powerful as a sales tool to get as many customers and leads as possible. Next, you've got brand equity. All right. When you focus on, how much is this brand, how much are you invested in this brand, or how much a percentage does this brand have among the entire marketplace, right? Versus direct response, it does focus on downplaying the competition, right? We're always just kind of like, don't do this, do that, don't do this, do that, take us. And it's just primarily trying to create a quick argument in your mind that this is not the right choice. Instead, go with us. And I always feel like branded advertising is a lot more of a long-term play. So lastly, they both focus on sales. However, direct response is focused on profitable sales and measurable sales. So that would be the direct comparison. And whenever you see a branded ad or a direct response ad, now you'll know really the difference. All right. So that wraps up part 2 of this module. I hope you enjoy that, and I'll see you in part 3 where we talk about the prerequisites to video editing. All right, guys, thanks for watching.